Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard jury must answer 42 questions, 24 on actors' claims and 18 on ex-wives, before they reach verdict in $100 million fight and decide damages, as case that gripped the world closed. The document was released by the federal court in Fairfax and shows there are 24 questions for Johnny Depp's claims and 18 for Amber Heard's counterclaim, spanning 8 pages. It means the jury has to decide on dozens of matters before reaching their verdict, which is set to be delivered this week. The document also contains a section where they will have to decide on the damages for Depp and Heard, and any punitive damages. Closing arguments finished on Friday in blockbuster defamation trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. The case is now being deliberated by the jury after 6 weeks of graphic and raw evidence about Depp and Heard's 4-year relationship and 15-month marriage. The Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard $100 million libel case is so complicated that the verdict sheet has 42 questions the jury must answer before the deliver of verdict. The document was released by the court in Fairfax, Virginia, and shows that there are 24 questions for Depp's claims and 18 for Heard's counterclaim. A verdict form is used to formalize the jury's decision on the case. Spanning 8 pages, it means the jury has to decide on dozens of matters before reaching their verdict. There is also a section where they will have to decide on the damages for Depp and Heard, and any punitive damages. The case is now being deliberated by the jury after 6 weeks of graphic and raw evidence about Depp and Heard's stormy 4-year relationship and 15-month marriage. Depp is seeking $50 million from Heard for allegedly defaming him with an op-ed in the Washington Post in 2018 which claimed she was a survivor of domestic abuse. According to the Pirates of the Caribbean star, even though it didn't mention him by name, it was obviously about him. Heard countersued for $100 million, claiming that Depp's lawyer Adam Waldman defamed her by claiming her allegations were an abuse hoax. The verdict sheet, called a special verdict form, asks the jury 8 questions about each of the 3 statements at issue in Heard's op-ed. They were that Heard spoke up against sexual violence, and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. The second statement is, 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. The third is, I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. In each case, the jury has to find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation. If the answer is no, then they can move on to the next statement. But if they answer yes, then the jury has to confirm all the necessary elements of defamation, that the statement as published by Heard, it was about Depp, that it was false, has a defamatory implication, that it was designed and intended by Heard, and that it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone. The final question for each statement in the op-ed is whether it was proven by clear and convincing evidence that Heard acted with actual malice. The test is to show that the statements in question were made knowing they were false, the threshold for defamation. For Heard's claims against Depp, the jury has to answer 6 questions for each of the 3 statements at issue made by Waldman, Depp's lawyer, to the media in 2020. They were that Heard used fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and a shield, that the claims were an ambush, a hoax, and that Heard and her friends faked a crime scene, and that the allegations were an abuse. In each case, the jury has to answer whether Heard has proven all the elements of defamation. If yes, then the jury has to go through each of the necessary elements. Did Waldman make the statements while acting as an agent for Depp? Was the statement about Heard? Was it seen by someone other than Heard, and was it false? The jury also has to find that Waldman acted with actual malice. For both Depp and Heard's claims, the jury has to enter an amount for damages and punitive damages. Both sides are asking for at least $350,000 in punitive damages, plus legal fees and court costs. While Depp has not disclosed how much he has spent on attorneys, Heard told the court she has blown $6 million on legal fees. though that number may have included a previous trial in London in 2020 which covered similar allegations. During closing arguments on Friday, Depp's lawyer Camille Vasquez described her as a deeply troubled person. She said, "There is an abuser in this courtroom, but it's not Mr. Depp. There's a victim of abuse in this court, but it's not Miss Heard. Miss Heard is in fact the abuser and Mr. Depp is the abused." Heard's lawyer Benjamin Roddenborn urged the jury not to become an accomplice in sending a message to survivors of abuse that they have to be. He said that abusive texts shown to the jury were a window into the soul of America's favorite pirate, referring to Depp's role as Captain Jack Sparrow. Depp was pictured smiling and waving to fans when he left the courthouse, while Amber Heard was seen hugging her lawyer as jurors began deliberations Friday. He left and shook hands with police officers before appeasing the large crowd of fans outside who were armed with banners and cameras. Heard's legal team had told the jury in closing arguments to think about the message Johnny Depp and his legal team are sending Heard and by extension every victim of domestic violence. Taking the floor Friday, Heard's lawyer Benjamin Roddenborn said, "If you didn't take pictures, it didn't happen. If you did take pictures, they're fake. If you didn't tell your friends, they're lying. If you did tell your friends, they're part of the hoax. Failure to seek medical attention meant you were not injured," Roddenborn said. "If you do seek medical treatment, then you're crazy, and if you do everything to help your spouse rid himself of drugs and drink, then you're an ass." Roddenborn continued, "And if you decide enough is enough and you have to leave to save yourself, you're a gold digger." That's the message Mr. Depp is asking you to send. He said that in Johnny Depp's world you don't leave him, and if you do, he will start campaign of global humiliation against you. He will do everything he can to destroy your life, to destroy your career. That's what they're trying to get you to be an accomplice to. Mr. Depp cannot and will not take responsibility for his own actions. Jurors are set to resume deliberations Tuesday, with a verdict in the coming days imminent.